Already, people are coming, hundreds for sure. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now and why everyone is so excited. We've lined up against these barricades because Christine Sinclair herself is expected very shortly to walk through all of these crowds on her way into BC Place, now Christine Sinclair Place, named in honor of the soccer player who means so much to everyone here, who means so much to Canada. And I have a couple of young soccer players here to explain why this is so important. I'm with Michaela and Shale. They play for Surrey FC. And Michaela, tell me, why is Christine Sinclair talented enough, important enough to bring all these people out here tonight?
Well, she's such a great inspiration for young girls and young women. I love her so much because she inspires us to be great people, great soccer players, and she really tells us that dreams really can come true.
That's pretty amazing. How will you feel, Shale, when she steps out onto the pitch for the last time tonight?
Well, it's almost sad, but at the same time, like, a happy feeling to know that, like, she's done so much and that she deserves to all the people that are here for her, and just almost nostalgic and a bit emotional because she's done so much for the women's soccer game and everything.
What makes her such a good player?
Well, her dribbling, oh my gosh, she scored so many goals. She's actually the top scorer of all of soccer. She scored more goals than any man and woman. So
what message does that send? The whole equality thing, because we've seen her. She went to Parliament Hill. She said women need to be paid the same as men. What does that mean to young players?
It really just means that, to show that women do the same work and we work just as hard and that we deserve equal rights and equal pay, and just because we work the same amount as men and we do the same thing and we play the same sport. And
I listened to an interview with one of her former coaches and he described her personality, that she was someone who is humble. Do you see that in how she behaves?
Yeah, she's well,
she doesn't like a lot of attention, does she?
Oh yeah, she's very humble because she's not too overly over the top person. She's always wearing just her gray hoodies, gray jogging pants. She's a very sweet person, very nice. She's so kind. Yeah.
What will you remember about watching Sinclair play?
Just how she inspires you and how she makes you feel like that you can do anything, and that will always be remembered for me.
45,000 fans are going to be here. How loud do you think it's going to be?
Wow, the whole stadium's going to be chanting her name.
And how loud are you going to cheer?
Really loud.
Okay. Do you guys want to give me an example of that? Do you think you can maybe say something? Maybe everyone around can help, eh? So can we cheer? Just go Christine or something. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Go Christine! Amazing. Thank you very much. So what a welcome. We have heard impromptu chants like that. I think I even heard "Oh Canada" down the aisle there a little bit. People are very, very excited to celebrate this hero, really. And I should note, she is also being celebrated, true Christine Sinclair fashion, being celebrated alongside of a couple of her teammates who are also retiring.
Lindsay, I just love listening to those little girls describe what Sinclair means to them. And, I bet Christine Sinclair would love to hear that, too. You're going to maybe get drowned out by the crowd as she potentially walks past you. And I know that can happen any minute now. But let me quickly ask you, what's next for Christine Sinclair? Because she's not going to go away. She's just not maybe going to be playing soccer for Canada, but still supporting the game.
No. Yeah, and she will also be playing soccer for the Portland Thorns. She said she has another year of playing pro in Portland, so people will still get a chance to tune in and watch those games if they want to see Christine Sinclair play. And of course, she has also been involved in the movement to bring a professional women's soccer league to Canada. Not expected to play in that league, but certainly a supporter of bringing those teams here and will be part of that organization. Plus, we saw her on the field with young Canadian players in Burnaby at Christine Sinclair Community Centre, where she will continue to sponsor and be a part of the development of young women's soccer players. So not leaving the game by any sense of the imagination, but a big chapter here closing with this professional superstar really being sent out with a whole lot of love, and it is going to be loud in there, Sarah.
Lindsay, awesome job, awesome assignment, very jealous of you. Have a great night. Thank you, Lindsay Duncombe. Okay, so for more on Christine Sinclair's legacy, I want to bring in her former teammate, Cara Lang. Cara, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us tonight.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I don't know, could you hear the little girls that Lindsay Duncombe was talking to there, talking about what Christine Sinclair has meant to her?
I heard it all, and I started to get emotional listening to what those little girls were saying. And of course, it's all true. And I think that is exactly what Christine Sinclair's motivation has been for the large part of her career, was to inspire a generation. And we just heard how she was able to do exactly that. That, I think, above all else, will be her legacy.
Could you tell us a little bit about what she was like as a leader, as a captain for the team? I'll tell you, I covered the Olympics in 2012 in London, and she sort of became the story of those games. You'll remember, of course, standing up for her team, but kind of standing up for Canada too when she didn't agree with the ref's call. What was she like as a leader then and previous to that?
Well, I of course remember the 2012 London Games, and that game against the US that actually galvanized the entire country. And she put the team on her back in that game, much like she did for much of her career, but specifically in that game where she scored a hat trick and was very vocal. We saw the passion and the energy and the anger that she was showing towards the refs and some of the very questionable calls that they were making. And I think that it really exemplified just how much heart she has and how much love she has for this team and this program and just the game itself. And she truly loves it. And every time she put on her uniform and put on that Canadian crest, it was an honor for her. And you saw it in the way she performed on the pitch. But that performance where we saw her being so vocal was not the norm for her. She has always been a quiet leader, somebody who led by doing, always so humble and graceful, never really sought out the spotlight, but just because of her pure talent, the spotlight always managed to find her. But I think that personality is also what makes all of this so beautiful. We heard the little girls saying how they love her as a player and person, and how special is that? She's just a good person, and that she deserves all the success that she's had. And so I think that's why everyone is so pleased and happy for her to celebrate her career. There's so many of us former players here who have flown into town. We're all here. It's like so cool that everybody is coming together to celebrate her, and we all jumped at the chance to do so because she's touched all of our lives in that way.
Cara, I know that if we were to ask Christine herself what she has meant to the game in Canada, that she would downplay. She always does in every interview, but speak for her what needs to be said about what she's meant for this game in this country.
Well, she's put women's soccer, Canadian women's soccer, on the map. She's a legend and an icon, not just in Canada, but internationally. I mean, when we hear that she has scored the most goals, she's the most prolific goal scorer, man or woman, on the planet. Like, sometimes I don't think people fully understand how massive that is and what that means. And the fact that I don't know if anybody will ever eclipse that, So she is going to go down in football lore as this icon that she is, and she has been this icon for the entirety of her career. I have no memory of ever hearing about Christine Sinclair being an up-and-coming star. She's just always been a star. When I joined the women's national team as a teenager, she was also a teenager, and she was already the star of the team. She was already the best player on the team, just on a different level, in a league of her own. She always has been. I mean, this woman has scored in 5 different World Cups. The only other players to do that are Marta and Cristiano Ronaldo. So Christine Sinclair, she breathes rarefied air, but you'd never know it, as I said, based on her personality. And when you talk to her, and as you said, how she would answer that question, you would never know it. But she is just on a whole completely different level, and she will never, ever be forgotten for the impact that she's had on the game.
What are your fondest memories of Christine, either on or off the field?
I think my best memories would be watching her score some of the magnificent goals that she scored, moments where she did things that you've never even seen her do in practice, that I don't even know if she had ever even thought about doing those things before. It just happens when she's in the flow of the game, and it just proves what a natural talent she is, that she's able to do that. So I think, being so close to her and being a teammate of hers, being able to watch that regularly on a daily basis in some cases, I think those are some of my fondest memories. And then, of course, just, we had a lot of high highs, but we also had a lot of low lows, World Cups where we were knocked out earlier than we were expected to. And I remember being very emotional on the field, and she was always there to comfort you as a teammate. And you always knew that she shared in your sadness because she cared just as much, if not more, than all of us. This was truly, she lives and breathes soccer and this program. So I think that just sharing, those high highs as well as the low lows, because you are a family when you're out there, leaving it all out on the field.
You talk about the low lows, and that it does make me think again of 2012, because Canada didn't make it into the gold medal game. Canada was playing for bronze, and I remember being in that stadium and feeling like, given all the attention that had been paid to that moment, it actually kind of felt like a gold medal game regardless for Canada. And Canada did win the bronze that year. Tonight, a lot of pressure tonight for them to win. Got any predictions? What are you expecting is going to come of this, and is it going to matter?
I think it matters. I think every international match matters, especially against a team like Australia. They did so well in the Women's World Cup, especially as co-hosts. And they did so much to improve the awareness of the game. I think that after that tournament, women's soccer is finally getting the recognition worldwide that it deserves. And a lot of that is owing to Australia and what they were able to do and the performance that they were able to pull off in a World Cup in their own country. And so this is a very good team. It's definitely going to be a challenge for Canada. I think that Christine Sinclair will certainly be doing everything she can to make sure that the last and final international game of her career is a good one. And so she's going to do all she can to help her team. But it's certainly a challenge for Canada. I don't think that it's by any means going to be a cakewalk. So I'm very interested to see the result. But at the end of the day, it is, as much as the result does matter, tonight is all about Christine Sinclair and just honoring her and her career and her amazing legacy.